Can John Silva become a UFC champion? Well, that was a better question to ask just a couple days ago, but still. John Silva versus Diego Lopez may be the fight of the year, and I loved it, man, didn't we all? Lots to talk about, lots to break down, cause let me tell you, I've never seen a fight look like one fighter is going to win easily, then somehow the other one picks it up, and then boom, the guy who was making a comeback gets slapped out of nowhere. So yeah, after seeing John lose in that fashion, it is just a little bit strange to ask, can he be a champion one day? But I still want to, and I think my reasoning will surprise you. First off, I wanna make it clear I won't speak nonsense such as, man, John was so much better than Diego, and he just got lucky catching him, cause if he didn't, my goat John Silva would KO him so bad. No, that is not what I'm about, honestly. That's such a bad way of looking at this fight, I think. We saw Diego was a more complete fighter from start to finish, and yeah, that includes even the moments he got rocked, cause we saw how incredible of a chin he has, right? Of course, the most impressive part mainly was his grappling and insane top pressure, as well as the ground and pound that opened up this whole fight for him basically. What I mean by that is the fact that we wouldn't get that spinning elbow KO if it wasn't for Diego almost 10-8ing John in the first round. I'm not gonna sit here and debate if it was a 10-8 or not, but one thing is for sure, I just know John Silva didn't expect to get dominated like that in the very first round. I mean, I don't want to get sidetracked too much. Today, the main topic here is not how John lost, but why he lost. And could he learn from this, eventually becoming a champion one day? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, yes, he can. I'm assuming no one in their right mind would dispute he's a technically sound fighter on the feet with incredible striking. On top of that, he's only 28, so he's still not at his absolute peak or prime, I should say. If you ask me, one thing that will make him or break him will be how he treats this loss. Come on, think about it, it's the million-dollar question really. Does he learn that he shouldn't be getting overly reckless, just throwing random strikes, because his precious ego got damaged a little in the first round? And does he also learn, hey, maybe I need some improvements on my ground game, cause you know, no one should be full mounted that easily. I'm not an expert at human psychology, but I've been an MMA fan long enough to know, when a fighter is faced with a crucial decision, for example, do I learn from this loss or do I let it destroy me? The results of that sad decision always ends up being quite dramatic, so to say. If we are purely looking at John's skills, I think he is indeed potential champion material. I don't doubt for a second that he can always be competitive with anyone in his division. Yet, the more I look at his sometimes absurd actions, when I say his absurd actions, I mean those in the cage, by the way, not just outside the cage or when he's celebrating or something. For instance, he does these glow touch nonsense, he talks too much. You can see, at least at times, he gets emotional in his weird headspace, and I thought that was mostly benefiting him up until now. However, as we all now know, it turned out to be not a great thing for him necessarily. I wanna ask you directly, now hear me out, before John got knocked out in the second, he was outstriking Diego on the feet by quite a lot, and it really looked like he was going to cruise to an easy win as long as he didn't get taken down again. So do you think he would have won if he let go of the gas a little at the end of the second, picked Diego apart further in the third, essentially winning this fight 2 rounds to 1? Do you think that was possible? It's hard to tell, right? That's what makes this kinda weird, cause Diego destroyed him in the first. In the second, John was bouncing back big time, you know, he picked it up seemingly out of nowhere and was looking almost perfect with his strikes. Of course, he did all that only to still get knocked out cold in such a brutal fashion. I don't know, man, I don't know about this fight and this matchup. It's way too wild to accurately tell what would happen if they were to fight again. But yeah, if you are questioning John's potential to become a champion one day, I think it's there. I know this will sound crazy, but I would say it's definitely there. You gotta understand, Diego Lopez went to a 5-round war with Volk, and yeah, sure, Volk kinda schooled him, yet even then he almost knocked Volk out, remember? Just because Diego lost against Volk, some people were saying, oh, he's a bum, he's a plant or whatever. What can I say? People forget, man, this Diego dude not only has the knockout power, he also has monster of a chin. The amount of clean shots Volk landed in their fight was borderline crazy, and Lopez didn't even budge for a single second. You know, the exact same thing goes for the strikes he absorbed in the early second round against John. What I'm getting at is this, we can't just declare John as an untalented trash of a fighter just because he lost to a top 5, maybe even top 3 guy in his division. So everyone, I'll leave you with this, even at his worst night, John was a problem for a top elite contender like Lopez, and I personally think he wins bare minimum 3 or 4 times out of 10, and this is assuming he doesn't fix his grappling issues. If he indeed fixes his mental and works to quote-unquote patch the weaknesses he has in his game, I sincerely think he can end up becoming a champion for sure. I guess when or if that happens, we will look back at this fight and say, hey, maybe he needed to lose. If I'm wrong and he fades into obscurity, then I don't know, man, we will talk about it when the time comes. Let me know what you think. Will John Silva bounce back from this and stay as the fighting nerd with the highest potential? Or is it completely over for all of them fighting nerds? I'll make sure to read your comments this time, I promise, and I hope to catch you next time. Subscribe, cheers!